Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Erickson TV. Curtis here with Lauren. Hey Lauren.
Hey everybody.
How's it going everybody? This episode is actually interesting because Lauren did some research and about life expectancy and retirement. And I think this is going to be where him and I are looking at this two different ways. So we're going to see how this goes because we haven't rehearsed this by any means. So what did you find out, Lauren?
Okay, so what I was looking up is I was wondering about this concept of why people are the most nervous about investing at different times in their life and how investing results happen in people's real life. So what I looked up, and I looked this up on the Social Security tables, and it said that, and I'm just going to use women as this example because then it makes it simpler to only use one gender, but a woman who's age 65 can expect to live another 20 years. So her life expectancy is to 85. Now, if a woman is 75, of course her life expectancy is no longer 85, now it has gone up. But what the table said is
right. Okay, good. So what was that number? The 85.
Right. If you're 65 and you're female, your life expectancy is 20 more years.
Okay, so
you can expect to live to 85.
So then, if you get to 85, you're actually then the life expectancy thinks you're going to live, not die that year.
Right. Exactly. Right. And then at 75, your life expectancy is 12 and a half years.
Okay.
So you're expected to live to 87 and a half. Which I thought was interesting because I thought that it would be higher than that.
Okay.
But then in any case, if you get to 85, then of course your life expectancy is not, as you say, that you're going to drop dead right at 85, but your life expectancy then is another 7 years.
So the IRS tables for IRA distributions sort of mirror that thought, where it's like every year you live longer, they extend your life longer.
So precisely.
Very consistent. Okay.
And so when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about retirement planning and trying to help a lot of the people that I work with get through planning for retirement and then get through the first bunch of years in retirement. And one of the things that I was thinking about is that when it comes to retirement, just purely statistically and purely based on the averages, what really matters is to get through that first 10 years of retirement and still be okay.
Okay, meaning that your assets aren't depleted.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. That you still have some money left, because realistically, for a lot of people, the first 10 years of retirement are going to be those are the years where if you can make it through those years and you haven't just depleted everything you have, the rest of your retirement, you don't have as many years left to plan for anymore. You don't have, exactly. It becomes more manageable, and it becomes less a question of trying to plan for retirement, and more just a question of, okay, when the inevitable medical costs occur, when the inevitable costs for long-term care, at the end of my life occur, how am I going to pay for them?
Right.
And then it becomes more about estate planning questions and all these other sorts of questions. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is and I don't really have much of a conclusion here. I don't have it, but I wanted to.
I think the conclusion is let's get you through your first 10 years of retirement, and everything else will take care of itself.
Right. Yeah. Well, but I think the thing that is really important for me is to sort of try to justify or support for a lot of people. When we talk about investing in the long term, and I always talk about that, a lot of people think that I don't have a concept but I need to invest for the short term too.
Right.
And that isn't true. I understand, that investing is very stressful for people because most of the really critical decisions in investing, you might live 85 years, but they're really going to be packed into the 20 years around the date when you retire.
Right.
In the last video we did, we talked about how most people save most of their money in the 10 years before retirement, and now what we're talking about is the fact that most people's retirement happiness is going to be largely determined by what happens in the 10 years after they retire. Right. After that point, honestly, probably they've either made it, or something really important is going to have to change. And for people who want to have an independent retirement where they don't have to rely on their kids and all those other sorts of things, then those 10 years right after retirement are really important. And I wanted to bring up once again, even though this was a similar conclusion to the last video, that's one of the many reasons why we talk about diversification, because it has always worked over decade-long periods of time. So even though I always talk about investing as a long-term activity, and even though we always keep the long-term in focus, we do in fact understand the reality that people live in, which is that their investing is made up of a series of short terms.
Right, right.
And yes, those series of short terms add together to be a long term, but
Right.
you know,
Well, the real practical to finish up this episode, in that first 10 years, if you think about it from retirement, that's when they're weaning off the relying on their paycheck.
Right.
That's when they want to start traveling.
Right.
That's when they want to do some things they've never done before because they've worked so many years. So that is not necessarily the time that you go ultra conservative and put all your money in fixed income because, like you said, you need to get through that first 10 years. And then what I do find in real life is that when you get beyond that next 10 years of retirement, you tend to slow down a little bit. You don't need to go on that worldwide trip again. You don't need to, to do the things. You've done all the things you want to do. So now you can kind of take a little more methodical pace. So yeah, that's very good, and that really mirrors in real life what I see my clients going through too. Well, thank you very much for Lauren for that research, and we'll see you next time on Erickson TV. Bye now.
See you next time.